All right, I'm just giving you guys a quick overview of how I'm using the On-page AI tool to do my keyword research really quickly and then build an article that really hits the mark. Let's just a quick dive in here. So, done the research here on a specific keyword that I want to write an article about. This is almost a breaking news type of thing. It came out in the last 24 hours. Just Google has added a new element or component to Google Eat called experience. That's the new E in front of eat. I think in part it's a good play in a number of ways. Number one, experience really does play into eat, and also EEAT is just too common of a word. So I think they needed to differentiate a little bit off of eat, and by adding the double E there, they're going to be able to recognize even people who are um, writing about it. So anyway, that's an aside there, but off we go. So On-page AI, I just ran this, and so it's giving me the top 3 results, search engine journals ranking number 1, number 2, and search engine land number 3. So it's analyzing those top 3, average number of words in each of those articles right there, and it gives me a breakdown of those pages there. But more importantly, it starts to give me this intelligence here: word recommendations, related words, keyword variations, page classification, the category words. These are really important. I'll leave the bigger reason why for a later date, but then it just does also give me the top 10 competitors using the Google NLP engine, and it starts to give me exactly who's got what in what pages on the top 10. And so I can really start to build a very, let's call it a very expert, authoritative, trustworthy piece of content based on who's already ranking in the top 3 and the top 10 for that matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quick send this to editor. And from here, I can do a lot and start to build my content and see how I'm scoring based against who's already ranking for this. And while I'm going to start to build my content here, I'm also going to run the brief. So I'll let that run here right away while I start to build the elements of my new article here. I'm going to go into research and just show you around a little bit. Actually, in Swipe, research and brief will populate once the brief runs. In Swipe, you can see I've got some tabs here. I've got general, I've got facts, I've got questions, I've got stats. In Optimize, I've got basically the pull of the intelligence of the search I just ran here. And as I add things into my content here, if I add Google, you'll see this turns green. And if I turn SEO, this turns green. And my score will start to, over here on the left-hand side, start to increase as I add words and related words and categories or entities into my article as I write. And I can also take things like these topics and facts and questions and even the suggested title. So for instance, I could remove this and I could just add this title here, and there's my title. If I want to use this, of course, and I could come in here and move on from here. Topic, I could introduction to and I move on and move forward here, right? So I can, this is a brand new concept here, so some of this isn't even going to be necessarily correct here, but here's my research, and so now I can begin to just build my content from here using a lot of the intelligence that the tool gives me. And then as I build this piece of this article out, piece of content, if you will, it's going to just continue to give me a better score, and I'm going to just continue to build my H tags in here, H1, and so on. And I can use their AI writer if I want. I could use the Google search engine itself, and however I want to just build this article here. So that's a quick overview of how I'm using the On-page AI tool to do research really quickly on a target keyword, and then begin to use the tool and the intelligence and feedback or data it gives me on that target keyword and already who's ranking to build out my article. And we'll come back and I'll show you how I've done that here at the end. All right, here's the final product. I've kind of spent, I would say, in all honesty, probably about 90 minutes on this article. I wanted it to be quality and I spent personal time on it. Here's the finished product, and then I'll show you basically the results in the tool. Okay, I thought this was a really cool image and quote. As marketers, and especially if you're into search engine marketing and SEO, you've sometimes, rarely, I think all the time, have to be ahead of the game and skating to where the puck is going to be, not where it is. Google's kind of always moving the goalposts or moving the puck, if you will. And you just got to read and between the lines and let their guidelines instruct you and kind of lead you into where they're going. And this article that I've developed here really tries to help that process play itself out. As where is Google going with the EAT, throwing in experience into the mix here. So here's the final article. I'll let you guys read it if you want to, but yeah, it's quite long. So I actually ended up being over 4,000 words now. Not all of it is mine, and some of this I'm quoting directly from the Google search guidelines or other potential sources. And I did not use really any kind of AI tool to write this, other than the intelligence that I got from the On-page tool regarding the existing pages that were already ranking for this. I did put in my 8 strategies for demonstrating EAT online, which are, I think, going to be really good value for those that read it, and talking about where is it going. And then I talked about just how this article did and actually attached images. I'll attach these videos here, the before and the after, basically, here on this page as soon as I'm done with this. But yeah, it turned out quite well. I went up against Search Engine Journal, who had currently still have the number 1, number 2 spots, Search Engine Land. I'm not in the top 10 at all. This is a brand new article. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it won't be easy. I've got a much younger domain here with much less domain authority than some of these big giants who've been around a long time, huge publications, but we'll see how it goes. And we'll document that kind of as a case study as well. But yeah, I think you'll find this article really valuable. And if we dive into how we did, this is the after picture. I now am comparing the live URL of the published article against the top 3 that are ranking here. And you can see I have now exceeded even the number 1 spot, number 2, number 3 spot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We'll see, what this tool is very instructive in terms of how to build a really good article, and I'll show you a little bit more here in just a second. But the tool actually stopped at 450 until my last couple of tweaks, and all of a sudden I popped past 450 and it opened it up to 500. So that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that was going to happen until I came back in and rechecked, and then all of a sudden 500 was appeared here. So anyway, good there. I'm over the average in a number of words. Really exceeded everything there. Really worked hard. I'd say like many iterations, just real small tweaks in the word, in the text itself, in the article, anywhere in here, working in different words that needed to be help create relation to the target keyword, which in this case is Google Eat with the new E in there. And I just kept really tweaking it and working on it. I ignored some of these potential over optimization. There was nothing really other than just adding emphasis for the reader there, so I'm going to ignore what the tool says there. I popped right into the same categories as, or page classifications as those that are ranking. Specific category words. I could continue to add more here and work on this article and just keep making it better and better. But the NLP analysis shows that I'm doing better than everyone, which is also related in the score at the very top here. But you can see on the far right is my page, and here are spots 1 through 10 and the major relevant words. And you can see here I've got, as compared to every single page, I'm doing better. I don't know, the number 1 spot only has 1 green where for YouTube, so I could easily go in and I think I've got to add a couple more there and I could get there. But I'm already, as you can see, surpassed page 1 average. That's how I built this article, was just really with the intelligence, and went to send to editor. And you can see here I'm at 100 here in the editor, and I just used the research. A lot of this was not even relevant because this is such a new term now. It wasn't even relevant yet. This will actually probably get better over time. But so I didn't use much of this, but I did use a little bit, and you'll see the before and how I used some of it to frame out the article. And then the rest of the way, I just truly started adding in my own intelligence, my own expertise. I did use some of the other articles and research that I did to create the headlines and some of the basically answers to them and all that. But yeah, that's the before and after, and it went really well. We'll see how I'm going to do a press release now about this article. And this article is also in Google News. You'll be able to, if we go scroll down here to our Google News channel, I go down here, we can go out to Google News, and you'll see here, introducing Google EAT, 8 strategies for demonstrating experience and establishing trust. So it's on Google News, it's been already indexed, and we'll see what happens here. Hope you find some value in the before and after of how I built this article out using the on-page tool, and just really use the intelligence that the tool gives me to build an article that demonstrates experience, expertise, authority, and ultimately will help build trust in the reader that when they come to read this, that this is in fact a really good quality article that will help them understand the topic of Google EAT, which includes the new EAT. And obviously I used a lot from Google because this was a new announcement from them. Did some research with some of the other page one ranking, that pages that were already ranking on page one for this term. Did some of my own research, other sources that I have, and then put together this article largely guided by the tool. All right, thank you, and I hope this helps.